Alright, let's look at the homework 2.8 problem number 5. Right, so we want to find the derivative of this function here. So let's do that. Alright, so using the definition, g prime of x is equal to limit as h approaches 0. Then you have a g of x plus h. So every time you see x, we put x plus h. So square root of 2 minus x plus h minus square root of 2 minus x. So that's just f of x and all over h. Right? Then we do the trick. We've seen this before. We're going to multiply the numerator and denominator by almost the original numerator except for the sign. So you have a square root of 2 minus x plus h plus square root of 2 minus x. Right? We're going to have to do the same thing on the bottom. So it's a 2 minus x plus h plus square root of 2 minus x. Right? So if you multiply it out, you're going to get limit as h approaches 0. Right? And on the bottom we have h times square root of 2 minus x plus h plus square root of 2 minus x. Right? So if you multiply the tops out, then you can see that you're going to get the a squared, this guy's square, which is 2 minus x. I'm going to just distribute the negative sign, negative h, minus, right, this guy's squared, which is 2 minus x. Right? Then we can cancel 2 minus 2 and negative x minus negative x. Right? So what's left is just negative h on top, right? But we have h on the bottom and h on top, so we can cancel out. So you're going to have a negative 1 left over on top, right? Then we know that h is approaching 0. So this is h. It's kind of hard to see, but this guy goes to 0. So what you get is negative 1 on top over, you have 2 of square root of 2 minus x, so it's a 2 times square root of 2 minus x. Right? So let's type that in. Right? We found negative 1 over square root of actually 2 times square root of 2 minus x. Right? And it says to state the domain of the function. Right? So you can see that we have to make sure that original function, the expression inside the square root has to be non-negative, right? So we have 2 minus x is greater than or equal to 0. So we can simply add x to both sides. So you have 2 is greater than or equal to x, right? In other words, x is less than or equal to 2, right? So which means that it's a negative infinity all the way to 2 and including 2, right? So let's write that down. All right, so it's going to be negative infinity, so symbol here, and all the way to 2, and you have a square bracket. All right, state the domain is of its derivative. Right, if you look at the formula, you can see that there's a fraction going on. So we still have to make sure that the x has to be less than or equal to 2. But on top of that, because derivative, so this guy is sitting on the bottom. So here, this guy has to be non-zero. Right? Then if you have 2 square root of 2 minus x is non-zero, right? Divide through by 2 and you get square root of 2 minus x is not equal to 0. then you can square both sides to get rid of the square root. Alright, then you can add x to both sides, so 2 is not equal to x, so x cannot be equal to 2. So from the domain above, we have to actually eliminate 2. Right? So it's going to be negative infinity to 2, but you cannot include 2. Right? So the domain is negative infinity to 2 with the parenthesis. Right? So let's check the answer. Alright, submit for testing. Alright, it came back and looks like we got all these parts correctly. Alright, that's it. I hope that this was clear.